What is happening? What up? What up? What up, Facebook family? We are back, Camp Royal back for another weekly installment of your favorite, my favorite Tuesdays life and trick tips. And it's going to be a great week as always, man. We've been so blessed to have so many absolutely incredible athletes on the program, so many people that just their life exemplifies what it's like to live for Jesus and also be the very top level athlete in whatever their extreme or action sport is. And so we're so excited that we've been able to do this and share this with you. And your guys' support's what makes it possible, sharing it out to people. And that makes this thing go out to the masses so that they can hear both these trick tips, but most importantly, these tips for life and how to really stay connected and live a life full of faith in Jesus, as well as being a top athlete and pushing the progression on both your faith as well as pushing progression, in your sport. And so this week, man, I'm so excited to introduce to you guys a friend of Royals, a friend of mine, a really good friend of our last week's guest, Jake Kinney. And his name, he's all the way from Tehachapi, California, out at Woodward West. We already got some people, Melissa Holman commenting in, got Energizer Benny on the podcast. That's what's up. But I'm going to bring in my man. This guy's awesome. His name is Dustin Orem. What up, Dustin? How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's up? Doing great.
Come
Such
on,
a blessing
man.
to be able to do this with you.
Yeah, I'm so amped. When Jake was like, hey, let's get Dustin on here, I didn't have an inch of hesitation in me, man. I was excited to connect with you and have you on here. And everybody loves you, man.
Yes, all glory to the Lord. And anything that's
Amen.
good in me is through the grace of Christ. So
Come on, man. I believe it. I believe it. So
yeah.
I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about you. And if you got anything to add, please add it in. But you are you're chaplain for Fellowship of Christian Athletes, right? You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's such a blessing to get to work with Fellowship of Christian Athletes and be under their umbrella to be able to go out and serve the athletes at the major action sports events, from things like the X Games to the UCI World Championships to even the awesome shop jams, everything in between, all the different things. The goal is always to bring Christ to the center of the culture, that the individuals in it will be transformed by his grace. So whatever it is, from the top events to the backyard events, all of it. So
that's right, man. Yeah. I love it. You're so authentic and real, and that's just Christ showing through you, man. And it's contagious, man. I love it. Yo, so yeah, you're it's awesome. You're also the BMX director at Woodward West out there, huh?
Correct.
Yo, yeah, that's so cool.
So awesome to be out here at Woodward West again, the center of the culture, just getting to see the Lord work out here and just get to hang with all the awesome campers. I know you said Benny was on it. Benny's been up here. Benny is the man. It's so much fun seeing him continuing to progress and just to be able to enjoy the talents that the Lord has given us and to be able to develop those to the fullest. It's some of the raddest places to be able to do that.
No doubt, man. I know my buddy Drew Loring is a good friend of yours too, and Drew comes and he'll coach alongside you guys, but then he'll also come out here to Royal and coach. And I just love how it's not like a competition, man. It's like action sports is just an amazing culture, and we get the blessing of being able to reach this crowd. That this is our calling, our gifting, right? To reach these people, man. Isn't that cool?
Absolutely. It's such a blessing. It's so crazy. And you're right. It is such a family, and it's a cool way to see the body of Christ being able to work together in that way and be able to serve each other in all the different aspects. And yeah, having Drew out here and knowing that he's out there and praying for you guys and everything you got going on out there, and just all of it is so good.
Come on, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Well, I tell people all the time, I say my favorite part about what we get to do is we get to light the most extreme people on fire. And when we light them on fire, man, there's nothing that's going to slow them down or stop them or anything else. And so that's me personally. That's one of the things I love the most about getting called to this culture. And obviously it's in our blood. I know you've been doing it since you were little. I have
Yep.
as well, and it's kind of hard to stray away from what you've been doing your whole life, you know.
Right, it's crazy. It's just wild how the Lord works in that, is we surrender our talents and passions over to him, how he'll continue to use them in different ways. It's awesome the ways that we've got to, but have so many different friends getting to use what the Lord's given them in so many different ways, whether it's just for a season or how we get to, and that we get to continue to use it, from fifth grade career day, bringing a block of wood and or a brick and a piece of wood and jumping that on the playground, to being out here at Woodward, to doing the chaplaincy, to following that example of Christ, to serve and not be served, as he gave his life a ransom for many, to be able to point through us surrendering our lives to his ultimate sacrifice for us. So it's just
So
too
good.
cool.
So good, man. Dale Simmons says it's good to hear your voice again.
Dale, yeah.
Yeah, looks like we got Melissa Holman, Benny's on here, Jared Wheeler,
Yo.
Bethany Anderson, part of Royal, Brooks Farrell. We got a bunch of people joining us in, man. And you got a pretty cool trick you want to teach us today. You want to tell us what you're gonna teach us all about today?
Yeah, it's the Superman seat grab. It
Whoa.
has been my favorite trick to watch as a kid, and now having had people come alongside me to help me learn it, it's now my favorite trick to be able to do. And so I'd love to be able to teach that trick as we go through the day. Shout out to Corey Nastasio. He was the one that I always watched doing it when I was growing up, and so they were just epic. I do them a little bit different. I don't have the exact same gratitude as Corey does, but it's a treat to do that. So I figured be able to share my favorite trick with you guys on that. So
That's awesome, man. Well, let's jump into that part right now if you want, and I'll pull up the video and you can talk us through it. How about that?
cool. Sounds good.
Yo. All right.
Yeah, so this was out at China Feast World Tour earlier, or at the end of last year. And so even just getting to the point of being able to do this trick was crazy for me, because I'm out there to serve the athletes, but every once in a while I get the treat of getting to ride with them and getting involved in everything. So the first jump in this set was crazy and definitely put me to the test to even get to this point. You can't see the exact size of it, but it was a big one, and so we were really pushing to go for that, and then flowing through it and getting into the Superman seat grab, just getting that extension. There's just nothing like seeing your bike out in front of you, having your hand on the seat and the bar, and just seeing your bike out there and being like, man, I am not supposed to be in this position, but I am right now, and this is awesome. And then the moment when you're putting it back under and you let go of that seat, and just that moment of float and latching back onto the bars and pulling away clean is man, yeah, such a awesome feeling, and glory to the Lord in that. So as we look at it, and just as we do any trick or anything, any feature we want to jump, or any gap we want to jump, or jump that we want to jump that has different things, the first thing is laying a foundation. So we know what we're doing. And so, okay, I've been able to ride dirt jumps before, understand the gaps, had jumped this jump a few times. So I got a foundation, knew that I could jump the jump, knew that I had a good amount of air time to be able to do a trick. And so kind of building that foundation. And then for you, as you're learning it, because you're learning this trick, I'm assuming you've never done a Superman seat grab before. So find a jump or a feature that you want to do it on, and just focus on riding that jump and feeling comfortable on that jump and getting smooth flow on it, and knowing that you have good airtime on it. The next part is going to be building, again, the foundation. So you see in this trick, I'm going to have one hand off and 2 feet off. So first and foremost, start working on taking your hand off. Or if you feel more comfortable with your feet at first, work on either a hand trick or a foot trick. So a no footer, getting used to taking your feet off and letting your feet be off the pedals and land back on it. That way you're working through that process and that feeling of not having your feet on the pedals, and then being able to find them. Because once you have that foundation, then we can start moving into the next aspects of it. And so that would be the foot one. The hand one is just working first and foremost, taking your hand off of the bar, letting it float, and then grabbing back onto the bar so that you can get that feeling. And then after you're feeling comfortable with that, start moving your hand back to grab the seat. And so just take that hand off and try and grab the seat. Keep your feet on it first. Don't worry about taking your feet off. Just taking that hand to then grab the seat. And so you're seeing those different things take place all together here, but that's why I want you to, again, at home, be working on those step by step and building that foundation. If you have access to an airbag or a foam pit or a body of water that you can set a jump up into, that's a great place to keep working on those. And that's something that I know Camp Royal has some cool stuff to have that. And we have that here at Woodward West as well, and a great way to start working on that. But if you're at home and you don't have those things, just be working on these steps, building into it, hand trick, hand to seat, and then working on no footers back on. And then you can start working on putting those together. So taking your feet off and grabbing the seat. Don't worry about extending the bike out in front of you. Just do, even as you start to see it, boom, right there. I just got the feet off and the hand on the seat. I haven't extended it yet, though, in this video I am going to extend it out. For you at home, work on just grabbing that seat and taking your feet off and letting it float, and then putting everything back on and being able to get that landing dialed. And as you feel more and more comfortable with that, and you're able to get more and more height on the jump, then you're going to be able to start extending that out in front of you. And then as you go up and you're in that moment where your feet are off, your hands on the seat, you're kind of in a tucked ball, and then you explode and snap the legs out behind you and the arms out in front of you, getting that full extension on it. And I just love that feeling of seeing that bike out in front of me, fully extended. And then a cool thing about the Superman seat grab is everyone's got their own little style to it. Like I mentioned, Corey Nastasio, he really pulls those bars back to him and pushes the seat out super far. I've always just enjoyed the pushing it just straight out in front of me. I don't really get the bike straight up and down, but if that's something you want to do, you can do that. And you pull that hand back and push the hand that has the seat out more, where I'm pushing my forward arm out and just the seat out as far as I possibly can right in front of me. And that, so you can put your own style onto it and what you feel most comfortable doing. But that moment when your legs just snap behind you, boom, they're out there. Enjoy that moment for a second, and then start the process of pulling the bike right back under you. So you see the legs just snap right there. And then as they snap, I start back into the process of pulling the bike under. As I pull it under, I move that hand back onto the grip, and then I focus on you want to get that hand back on there, because you're going to roll away better if you got both hands on it. And then you can focus on those feet, finding the pedals and starting to brace for the landing. Then you come in smooth right there. Praise the Lord, came in right at the top of that one and just got to enjoy that trick to the fullest. And so as you move into those unknown aspects of what it's going to feel like extending that bike out in front of you, where there's the point of no return, it's out there, right? You got to be able to pull it, build that foundation, and knowing how to ride the jump, and knowing how to do what it's going to be like to have your feet off of the pedals and put them back on, know what it's going to feel like to have your hand reach back for the seat and be able to pull it all under, so that you can go into the unknown aspect of the trick with confidence, knowing that you've built a solid foundation. You have the joy behind what you're seeking to do, and then able to act on that. And shout out to Ryan Nyquist, who filmed that for me. He was a big part, him and Jake Lay, a big part of motivating me to get out there. And they knew I wanted to do that trick on it, and they gave me that motivation. That's a cool part about walking in what we do together, and having people alongside with us in the process of learning these new tricks. So I hope at least at home you can start to work on that, whatever level you're at. Maybe it's just needing to build a jump. And so put a jump together so you can start feeling what it feels like to get in air. And again, building those foundations so you know that solid foundation, so you can go into confidence, the new tricks that you're going to be learning and working on, and the ways that you can build up to them. Don't feel like you have to do everything all at once. So much, I know we live in a culture that's very instant, but so much of life is a process. And most of the things we celebrate most are a process. So people will commit their whole lives to things, and those are normally things that we're going to celebrate. If something happens overnight, a lot of times it doesn't get the same, because we know the commitment's not there. And so we walk step by step in so many different things, and enjoy the process along with others as we go through that in all of those. And
So
what's
good.
cool about this, thank you. Yeah, it's so cool. I love it. The Lord's so good in that, and just the joy and the excitement of it. So
Definitely, man. And there's so many parallels there to our faith, right? Like, don't build the foundation, man. Build the
yep,
foundation, right?
absolutely.
Come
So,
on,
and
that's
it is crazy, because and that's how I'll explain the tricks. Like I said, I was at a skate park the other day explaining someone how to go over a spine, or there's a different feature at the park that they're not used to. And it's always building those foundations, what they've jumped before, different features that they have jumped, similar features that they've jumped at home or at another park, and then they're able to take it to that. And I always say it's all based on biblical principles, and that's what's cool. So much of what we learn in the Bible is what we get to take right to life. Is it is sufficient for all different aspects of life, and even having fun on our bikes or on the different shred devices that we have, the way that we're able to do that and use his truth in all that we do. Is we were doing an awesome study in Psalms last summer out here at Woodward for whatever staff or campers want to come and be a part of it. And as we were going through the Psalms, I love watching a lot of the different stuff this Pastor John Piper does. And he had this cool thing going through Psalm 100 on how, and it's something that we've seen before. And as I went to school, got to study a lot of it, and seeing how so much is built on our solid understanding of who God is and what he's done for us. And then how that changes, and our joy for him changes all of our affections, which then change our actions so that we can walk in it. So just as we build that foundation for the trick, understanding the trick, the truth of the trick, and then we look at our joy, our excitement for it, our commitment for it, and then being able to move in action. This Psalm 100, it's super short. I figured I'd read it for you because his word is so good. But it starts, "Shout joyfully to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful singing. Know that the Lord himself is God. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name, for the Lord is good. His loving kindness is everlasting, and his faithfulness to all generations." And so we see the Lord, we see the psalmist shouting and calling us to joy and calling us to serve with gladness. So he's calling us to these affections, but we can't just turn those different things on. And he knows that. And so he founds what he's calling us to in the shouting with joy, in the serving with gladness, in the entering his gates with this.
Looks like we might be having a little technical difficulties here for a second. We lost a little bit of sound there. But what he's talking about in Psalms 100, right? I think, are you still there? Oh, okay. The sound's tweaking out a little bit. But he says joy, right? And joy is a fruit of the spirit, man, where God actually enables us to have joy, even in the midst of chaos, by knowing that our God is good and he loves us, man. And Dustin agreeing there, man. And so it's so beautiful that all these dreams, these desires that we have, like BMX, mountain biking, scooters, skateboards, all these things, we know they're desires that the Lord has for us, because it does bring us joy, and we can really connect with him on a different level when we're operating in the gifts and the talents that God's given us. And so, man, I love your heart, Dustin. Let's see if we can disconnect you, and maybe you can reconnect back in, and we can finish this. Let me. You want to connect back in here? Let's try that. All right, here we go. All right, can we hear you now? Sound's still tweaking out a little bit here. Maybe try to close it out, and then relink back in, and we'll try that. All right, so Dustin's gonna work on trying to get connected back in here, and yeah, man, isn't Dustin awesome? So many of you guys know Dustin already that are tuning in, or that will tune in, and the guy, I love how he's able to connect the sports that we love and that we desire to our faith, and how important it is to build foundation of different tricks. But it's equally as important in our faith to be able to build a firm foundation, something that we can really stand on when we're in times of trouble, times of need. The Bible even says, build your foundation on solid rock instead of on sinking sand. And so that's essentially what he's talking about. Even a career in action sports with skateboarding, scooters, bikes, any of that stuff, if you don't build it on the truth, on biblical concepts, on the truth, if you're not constantly in the truth of the word and constantly reading, like, your faith is going to start, your foundation's going to start to dissolve, just like that sand that the Bible talks about. and your foundation will end up not being able to sustain or hold you. Are you there, man? Oh man, I don't know. The audio still is still not joining in. Maybe try to unplug the headphones. We could try that, I guess. We'll try one more thing here with Dustin, and oh, I don't know. It's still not coming through. Anyways, Dustin and I just want to say we love you guys so much, and man, we heard the majority of what he says. And maybe we'll comment in, and Dustin can finish the rest of what he was saying in the comments here on the Facebook live chat. But man, we love you guys so much, and that's the reason we do this. We just really want to see people that are set ablaze, set on fire for the Lord, that are not just going through the motions, but are actually in an active relationship with Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. And so we love you guys, and if we didn't love you, if we didn't care at all, we wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. I promise you. And the fact that you're watching and listening right now is further proof that God is pursuing you, and He wants your life, and He loves you so much. And so we just love you guys so much. Yeah, thank you too, Melissa, for joining in. We love you guys. I know Dustin loves you, Benny and Melissa. Thumbs up, and we're going to sign out. We love you guys. We'll do it again soon with Dustin. How about that? We'll figure out the technical difficulties, and we'll finish what we're saying. But love you guys. We're going to sign out. See ya.